My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. Hey y'all, so I'm sitting down with, once again, relatively limited time, only because Joe is coming home from work soon, but then he might be going to work out. So I might end up having like more time than I think I do, but with a little bit of an interruption. You don't care. Why do I always start my videos by being like, here's exactly what's going on in my life right now, and here are all of the factors. Anyway, I didn't want to let the rest of this day slip away without filming a video about Black Friday. And I'm not going to do what I have not even what I have traditionally done. I think there's only been one, not I think. Goodness gracious, this is it's not ideal for me to like rush home from work and start filming. I feel like when I'm at work, I'm very inside myself. I'm like buried deep inside myself because I spent all day sewing, listening to music, watching stuff, watching YouTube. It like takes me a long time to emerge. I'm like a worm and myself is like a shell, and I feel like it takes me a long time to come out. What I meant to say is that last year I did like a Black Friday survival video, and I have done so many sale survival videos where I help you reframe what a sale means and reframe and recontextualize spending and saving, and just kind of help to take the cobwebs that sale tends to lay over our reasoning, to take them away and to be able to see clearly and to go in with open eyes. I've done so many videos like that, and I don't want to repeat myself. I am going to link my sale survival playlist down below. If you feel like your brain is very cobwebby, like if you feel like you are on the precipice of just like falling into the abyss of super overspending, if you feel like you're about to have an episode where you slip back into maybe bad behavior that you've had in the past, or you just slip into another round of bad behavior that you've been exhibiting lately, bad for you in terms of like the budget that you have and the life that you have. If that's your situation and you've clicked on this video because you know that I tend to be someone who kind of helps to snap you out of it, I do recommend watching the rest of this video because I think it will help. In some ways we're in the same situation, but I do also recommend going back and watching my sale survival playlist, because I feel like you never know what's going to be the sentence or the phrase or the metaphor or the example that really gets at it for you and wakes you up. And I might not be able to give that to you in this video, but chances are that one of the things I've said in one of my past videos about either the Sephora sale or the Ulta sale or Black Friday last year or something, one of those videos will contain the thing that you really need to hear. I'm framing this video that way to kind of prevent myself from hyperventilating over the need to pack everything that could possibly be the right thing to say into this video. That playlist is there and it's a resource, and it allows me to do what is the most natural and I feel like the most interesting and fresh for me in this video, which is to just talk about how I'm treating Black Friday right now, after almost a full year of being on a strict budget, after doing a no-buy year to recover from compulsive overspending on beauty products and other beautiful things. So that's what I'm going to be doing, just kind of like reporting to you about my current status as someone who still has budget to spend and sees Black Friday fast approaching. Sadie's had enough of this snuggling. I think she's worried because the fire trucks are going by outside. It's okay, Sadie. It's just life. The last thing I wanted to say before getting into the meat of the video is that two of my dear friends here on YouTube, the brilliant Angelica Nyqvist and the brilliant Lauren May Beauty, have made their own videos about Black Friday. And both of them have ways of looking at spending that are non-traditional compared to the general beauty guru scape. So that gem of a sentence might be in one of those videos for you. And both of them also have slightly different ways of looking at budgeting and spending and saving from me. So I want to heartily recommend both those videos to you, and I'll link those down below as well as my playlist. And with that, why don't we go ahead and get into the meat of the video. So what's going on for me right now is that I've only purchased one thing with my beauty budget this month, and that is because I've been so busy. I bought a Lisa Eldridge lipstick, and I think I had $15 or $20 left over, which means that the $30 of those lipstick, the $30 that I spent on that lipstick only took something like a $10 bite out of my $200 budget for November. So I have close to the full $200 left to spend. And there is something that I really want. I want to replace a sheer black wool long sleeve top that I have worn pretty much to shreds. It's something that I purchased before my no-buy year, and I think it's like my most worn top in my wardrobe because it works for many seasons. It keeps me warm but not too hot. It's basically like a long sleeve t-shirt that's made out of 100% merino wool, and it retails for about $60. It's from the brand COS. I have a COS actually not that far from where I live. Like it's not like it takes no time for me to go there. It's not like it's around the corner. It would take some time for me to walk there and to walk home, but it's close enough that I could, if I were having a normal November, if I were having like normal lifetimes right now, I could have fitted in after work. It's just like a thing that I'm doing. Any number of dates as a weekend excursion, I could have fitted in. And I've been planning to do that for weeks now, since the beginning of the month. I think even since the end of last month, I knew that I'd be spending a large chunk of my November budget basically on just buying the exact same shirt again because it comes out every season. And I know that they have it. I've checked the website and stuff. I had it in the back of my head that if I did go to COS to get that top, I might get something else as well. Like I might spend my whole budget on one shopping trip on like one sweater and that shirt, or maybe that shirt and one pair of pants or a dress or something. I really like the designs from that shop, and I also like spending my budget on the experience of trying clothes on and being able to have the freedom to buy something if it strikes my fancy. I've learned that saving my budget for that experience rather than frittering it away on like frantic online purchases that I've like decided over really obsessively night after night. If I fritter my budget away on that stuff and then the stuff comes in the mail and I unwrap it and then it's a little bit different than what I thought it was, but I still like it and so I don't send it back and then my budget's gone and then I have all this stuff, that makes me less happy than just saving it and having a little shopping trip. And sometimes I've done that and I haven't bought anything, but it's nice to have the freedom. It would have been nice if I had managed to make it to COS at some point this month. It would have been nice to have the freedom to spend up to almost $200 there because it's not it's not a place that sells inexpensive clothing. I could easily spend $200 there on just a couple of things. That's something that I thought that I would do this month. It turns out that I haven't done that. And I still do want to buy that top. And as the end of the month draws closer, it becomes more and more appealing to save the entire budget so that when I finally have breathing room and I'm finally able to take myself out, I'll have the whole $400 budget available. And maybe I'll decide to buy one much nicer thing. Every day that passes, I feel less and less inclined to spend even a small bit of my budget because this reward of being able to really relax into trying on a huge variety of things and maybe the opportunity to buy like a nice pair of boots or like a really fancy pair of designer jeans or like a gorgeous holiday dress or something that my budget wouldn't ordinarily allow because they usually only have roughly the 200. The opportunity to go on a shopping trip with that option as part of it, it's like I can smell it and I feel really reluctant to part with any of my budget. At the same time, that top, the wool top that I pretty much know I'm gonna buy, it would be such a wise investment and it would make me happy. That's the kind of thing that I would feel good about buying on sale. Sale or no sale, whichever week it is, this week, next month, this part of my budget, December budget, whatever time it happens with whatever budget I use for it, I will buy that top. If I buy it when it's on sale, then what happened was I definitely did save money because I was going to buy it later anyway, or I was going to buy it in the past anyway, and I never got around to it. So with a thing that you're sure you're gonna buy at some point in the pretty near future, I think it's a little bit dicier when you start banking on something that you're pretty sure you're gonna buy in the far future. Like if you're shopping the Black Friday sales and you're so eager to talk yourself into making a purchase and to getting a good deal that you say, well, we were going to replace our TV eventually. We were going to have to do it eventually. Or I was going to have to upgrade my phone eventually. Or I was definitely going to have to replace my winter coat eventually. Or I would have needed to get a really formal dress because eventually a formal occasion is going to come along. So I should do it now because this is smart. When you start talking in those terms about what you would have bought eventually, that to me is a little bit more foolish. It's like a little bit more tricking myself into just spending because there's still a part of my brain that it's like this lizard part of my brain, this reptilian part of my brain that has been trained by years and years and years to want to buy stuff because it knows that there's a chemical reward. So that part of my brain is always trying to like bust through the walls to the rational part of my brain and get me to rationalize making a purchase when in many cases it's not necessary to spend that money right now. Even if the thing costs less right now than it would next year, than you think it would, because you never know. There is really no reason to spend that money right now. But for me with the top, I am planning to spend that money within like a month and a half of Black Friday. If that top were to go on sale on Black Friday, then I might just get myself over to COS and buy it, or I might even buy it online. Not ideal, but I could see myself potentially doing that. But I'm pretty sure COS doesn't have a Black Friday sale. The only reason I bring that up, I don't know if they'll have a sale or not, I'll probably check, but I bring it up because it is pretty funny and it's pretty ironic, and it's a good opportunity for thought for me to have the one thing that I have decided I'm going to buy completely enough to the point where it would actually make sense to buy it on Black Friday, to have that one thing be something that's carried by a shop that traditionally doesn't have Black Friday sales. It kind of saves me from having to make the decision about participating in Black Friday or not. I still worry about my ability to discern whether or not something is a thing that I wanted enough so that I would have bought it anyway, and therefore I'm actually saving money instead of just spending extra money. I'm still totally not sure I trust myself to make that decision. And so my instinct is to just skip it. Skip Black Friday, skip the Sephora sale. That's kind of why I've been doing that too. My strategy is to not plan to shop at a sale event like this, because I feel like if I spend a bunch of time bargain hunting and trying to decide and making wish lists and then checking the wish list to see what's going on sale and what's not going on sale, I am sure that if I do that, I will talk myself into buying things that I otherwise wouldn't have bought, and my reason for buying them will be because they are on sale. And in that situation, I'm not saving money. I'm spending money that I wouldn't otherwise have spent. And the interesting thing for me is that there's a limit to how far that behavior can take me because of my budget. So in the past, engaging in a Black Friday sale bonanza was a really bad idea for me, because I would allow the shops and the sales and the corporations to perform that trick on my mind. And then I would buy and buy and buy and buy so many things at reduced prices, and I would end up spending way more money than I would have spent on stuff like that altogether if there hadn't been a sale. And I would end up buying way more stuff than I would altogether. And that got me into hot water. Like, that got me into debt. That was a bad situation. Now, the worst that can happen is that I spend my whole budget and it's gone. I don't really want to do that because I really want to have more budget in December. So it's for myself, it's for my own future gratification that I'm resisting having that trick performed on my mind. But the cool thing is that if I happen to end up browsing a little bit on Black Friday, and then I end up deciding to let the trick happen and to buy a couple of things that I wouldn't have bought otherwise, and I end up getting a couple packages in the mail, in a week of things that I bought half price, and I end up spending my whole budget, the worst that will happen to me is that I'll have spent my whole budget and then I'll only have $200 when December rolls around. That would be a little bit of a letdown for me, but it wouldn't be life ruining at all. It wouldn't even be close to life ruining. And that's good to know. I feel like I'm going into Black Friday not having fully decided what I'm going to do, but with a safety harness on. If I were to shop the Black Friday sales with the remainder of my budget, I might get more stuff by volume with that same amount of money than I would get if I bought some of that same stuff on any other day of the year. That is true. But right now, in late November, with most of my budget left, I feel like I would rather spend less money and end up acquiring fewer things by volume in order to have the room that I want, the elbow room to take myself out shopping or to think about getting one much nicer thing later. I just want to have that elbow room. I want that breathing room. I want to take my space back, my brain space, and my money back from this weird commercial consumerist national holiday, even if that means ending up with less stuff at the end of the year. One less lipstick, two less pairs of pants than I would have gotten if I had obsessively made lists and checked the lists and gone out and checked the shops and bargained and all this stuff. Like the thing that will happen if I don't do that is I might end up with fewer things at the end of the year. I might end up having spent the same amount of money on fewer things. That's fine. That's like, that's not so bad. I think some people, they don't actually put a name to that, and they kind of live in fear of it, of missing out on ending up with more things for the same amount of money. I think it's fine to end up with fewer things for the same amount of money. I think that if I didn't have a budget, the alternative worst thing that could happen, or the opposite, the equal and opposite worst thing that could happen, was that I would end up spending way more money than I have to spend. And that's way worse. So my strategy for the sale is to not plan to shop it, meaning I'm not sitting here making lists, I'm not putting things in carts, I'm not making spreadsheets and weighing X against Y. This week I've kind of been checking myself when it comes to the impulse to be like, ooh, I wonder if XYZ has a Black Friday sale, or I wonder if Y has a Black Friday sale. Because what happens is that it has happened to me, I end up going to the website like Aritzia or something it's like a shop I've traditionally enjoyed buying things from, and I like the clothes that I bought from there. So I go to the website and then I start looking for something to want because I want to get a good deal. And that's the exact thing that I don't want to be doing. I don't want to be generating an excitement about a thing that I didn't even know existed before just in order to buy it on Black Friday. So I've caught myself slipping into almost doing that a couple of times this week. And then I've just been like, no, girl, we're not doing that right now. We're not shopping this week. We're not strategizing. We're not planning. We're not honoring the fact that Black Friday is coming. We're just living our life. We, Hannah Louise Poston et al. I might buy something on Black Friday. I don't know how the day is going to go down. I'm not making myself a rule that I'm not shopping the sale this year. I am not really into squeezing my own neck and like gripping myself really tightly anymore with relation to shopping, because I don't like the feeling of anxiety or panic or obsession surrounding that behavior. I'm really enjoying the fact that with my budget, I'm able to kind of relax into an enjoyment that isn't tainted by anxiety. So I'm not saying I will, I'm not saying I won't. What I am saying is that I'm not obsessing over it and I'm not planning for it. Every time that I've slipped into that strategizing mode where I've kind of wish listed or researched, I've started to feel stressed about making the decisions, making the right decision about which thing to buy on sale and how to partition my budget to get the most out of it on Black Friday. And I don't like that feeling. That stressed feeling reminds me of nothing so much as my old relationship with shopping, the relationship I had with shopping before my no-buy year. And I don't want beautiful things and the acquisition of beautiful things to feel like that anymore. So if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling stressed about what to buy, if you have a whole long list and you've been spending all of your brain power this week putting different things at the top of the list, knocking other things off the list, and trying to decide how much is too much, and your budget for what you're going to spend on Friday keeps going up and up and up. If you're feeling that stress, remember that you have an out. You have an out, an option that has an amazing advantage, and that is the option to not buy the thing or any of the things. But every time there's a thing before you and you're trying to decide, if you're on the website and you're trying to decide, should I buy it, should I buy it, just remember that saying no to that question, no, I'm not going to buy it, has an amazing advantage, which is that you keep the money that you are going to spend. Even if it's half of what the thing usually costs, even if the thing usually costs $50 and it's only $25, and you just feel really keyed up about that, like, oh my gosh, it's worth so much more than that, so I've got to buy it, and it's yet another thing in yet another online shopping cart, and you're about to buy it and you just feel like, of course, it's a no-brainer. The out that you have from those stressful feelings is to just close the window and not buy it, and then you'll save $25. It's like, cha-ching, $25, which isn't nothing, because if you do that twice, that's $50. That's the $50 that one of those things would have cost full price. You rarely go wrong with that choice. When there's a bunch of stuff on super sale and it's really hard to figure out what the right decision is, like what to buy, choosing not to buy anything or choosing not to buy most of it or just to buy the one thing, you really, I think in my life, it's a rare situation, if I can even think of one. I kind of try never to say never, but it's hard to think of a situation in which that has ended up being the wrong choice. Good luck out there. Let me know how you're feeling about this in the comment section down below. Get down there, support each other. Sometimes I don't have the right thing to say that you guys need to hear, but sometimes you guys have the thing that each other needs to hear. Grammar is gone, everything is gone, and I am going to. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself this week, especially on Black Friday. Taking extra good care of yourself might mean not buying the thing, whatever it is. So make sure you do that. Take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself going forward as you do your work in the world.